Vanakkam நேயர்களே, welcome back to another episode on vadapochetamilpodcast. We are now available on most streaming platforms, which is Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or எந்த பாட்காஸ்ட் பிளாட்ஃபார்மில் நீங்கள் கேட்குறதா இருந்தாலும் நீங்கள் அதை கேட்டுக்கலாம்.
நம்மள சோஷியல் மீடியாவில் நீங்கள் ஃபைண்ட் பண்ணலாம் at vadapochetamilpodcast, Instagram and TikTok. Leave us a comment, message அனுப்புங்க, ஏதாவது ஃபீட்பேக் இருந்தாலும் சொல்லுங்கள். We'll definitely reply to you guys. So please reach out to us and let's have a conversation going. Enjoy the show.
ஹாய்டா.
ஏய் கவுண்ட் பண்ணி ஹாய்டா.
இதை நான் ஏன் முதல்ல
மை டியர் டயானா.
டேய் கொஞ்சம் சைட்ல வெச்சுக்கோ.
டேய் இப்படியே பேசியிருந்தேன் நான் அனியன் மாதிரி ஆயிடுவேன்.
இல்ல பாக்க டொமேட்டோ
இல்ல வெங்காய வேலை கொஞ்சம் ரொம்ப ஏறிட்டு வேற.
காசு முடி வெட்ட காசு இல்லடா.
நான் வெட்டி கொடுக்குறேன்.
ப்ளீஸ் நோ இட்ஸ் ஓகே.
மொட்டை அடிச்சிடு.
ஓ முடிய பாத்தியா?
Just one hair flying. ஏதோ பெரிய ஷாம்பு அட்வர்டைஸ்மென்ட் பண்ற மாதிரி சொல்றான்.
Pantene.
You know, I recently started dyeing my hair again, right? And then Bharaf dyed his hair for our May concert, right? May
thing, yeah.
Everyone come and ask me, why Bharaf suddenly dyeing? Anga onnume illa.
Oh, who's everyone?
My family. I will link you out directly. You can ask them. சரி ரொம்ப போவேனா இந்த கேமரா எங்களே தெரிஞ்சிருக்கோம் என் பக்கத்தில் யாரோ இருக்காங்க. ப்ளீஸ் இன்ட்ரடியூஸ் பண்ணுங்கடா.
அதான் கியூவா?
கெஸ்டே வந்துட்டாரு.
Is this how you queue all your
No, but
இல்ல அது நல்ல விதமா கேக்குறாரா? நான் கேட்டேன். I don't know.
அந்த ப்ளீஸ் பக்கத்துல யாரு இருக்காங்க? ப்ளீஸ்
சொல்லுங்க.
முடி வெட்டணுமா?
Yes. நீ சொல்லுங்கடா.
Dumbfounded by it.
Hey, this should be in there, no?
So நேயர்களே, we have Priveen today with us. Hi Priveen.
Hi. So Priveen.
என்னைய பத்தி நல்ல இம்பாக்ட் வந்துருச்சுல. எண்ணங்கள்.
Priveen, tell us more about yourself.
So I'm 1.96 cm tall.
அது பார்த்த உடனே
No, I've been in aviation all my life. Something I'm very passionate about. I'm one of those that wasn't blessed to go through university and Ivy League schools lah. So my mom, single parent. We live in Yishun.
நல்ல இடம்.
பாஸ்போர்ட் தேவையா போவா?
Day.
அதிலே தெரிஞ்சிருச்சுல. ஃபாலோவிங்ல நான் சொல்லிடுறேன். என்ன சென்சர்ஷிப் அங்க இல்ல இங்க இல்ல அங்க இருக்கு.
ப்ளீஸ்.
Yeah, so I grew up in Yishun. I'm still in Yishun. Very proud to be in Yishun. Very proud to be a kopi shop person. I was blessed after my internship. I had an opportunity to start up AirAsia Singapore. At a very young age, I was 24. Didn't know what I was getting myself into. Had this opportunity. Two of us actually set up the airline. We worked non-stop. We had no lives for many, many years. And quite honestly, we never knew that AirAsia would be at the level it is today lah. You know, we thought it's probably last a couple of years. We can put it in the CV, look nice and all that. But it worked out. So I was very blessed with that. And during that time, I also managed to get my degree and all that. It's something I'm very passionate about because I'm a very proud N-level student. A lot of people think, once you go down that N-level route, that's the end, right? You go IT, you become like blue-collared worker. Right? I mean, I came from, I'm 46. I come from a generation where you're either smart or you're not. It's either you fit in the template or you don't fit in the template lah. So I was told I'm stupid. So I also bought in lah. I mean, 10 people tell you you're stupid. 11th fella, before you even open the mouth, you already tell, hey, I'm a stupid fella lah.
At a young age, you're more impressionable also.
Of course. But the reality of the system here is you can't. I'm dyslexic as well. So like a lot of things didn't make sense to me. So I just said, okay lah. I slacked and didn't do too good. Only much later when I went for an aptitude test, I found out actually I have a very high IQ, but I'm highly dyslexic as well. right? I had the opportunity during the stint with AirAsia to meet other high-performing dyslexics also, like Richard Branson. So I had the opportunity to be with him for a bit and learn how, as a dyslexic, he maneuvered around the corporate world. Because it's a serious thing, right? Like when I sit in a board meeting, you've got P&L, and you need to understand that, you need to dissect it. And it happens very quickly. So you are at a disadvantage already going into the room. So you pick up a lot of stuff, you know. But I think at the end of the day, if you put in hard work and you know what you want to do, I think that's a good place to be.
Priveen, you mentioned that.
He suddenly sounds so sadhu.
The modulating voice.
serious mode really.
No, because you mentioned that you found out in the later stages of life that
Yeah.
you are actually high. You have a very high IQ.
Yeah.
How
Not very high. I mean,
it
it wasn't as bad as I was
But
told.
But people meet you there.
So, how did you feel when you realized that, oh, okay, I am not meeting my potential? Then, you know, at that because when you found out you were already later stages of your life, you already passed your N level and all that. So, did you have like a feeling that, oh, now I feel like either earlier தெரிஞ்சிருந்தா, like if I knew this earlier, there would be outcomes would have been different for you in school?
Yeah, I'm sure. Of course, I had my moments where I had the coffee and said, oh, if only I knew, if only someone had believed in me. Whatever it is, I think I never gave up. You know, I never, not gave up, I never gave in. I never gave in. So just continued hustling, continued working hard, because there's this work in Sanskrit called dharma. Very dharma-centric, right? So I just do my duty. I do my duty to the best of my ability, and then whatever comes out of it, comes out of it. So I was very lucky because Tony was an extremely empowering boss. Tony Fernandez, right? Very empowering. The whole team that was in the pioneer startup of AirAsia, most of them did not have degrees. In fact, today the president and group CEO of AirAsia, who runs 7 airlines, with 7 CEOs reporting into him, and all these 7 CEOs are Harvard, INSEAD, MIT. He only has N level. He never even bothered getting a degree. So it's relevant. Is it important in today's context? Yes, it is. You know, I'm one of those lucky people who got a break. Right? But if you ask me, if I tell my nephew and my nieces today, yeah, get a degree, not because you can get a job, but because it gives you exposure. You know, and I think with how social media is today, with globalization, the experience of a degree is very different from my time. My time was very academic. Like right now, even in my current company, I have interns coming in on their vacation, 3 months, and picking up a new skill set in technology. I'm in technology now, aviation technology. So I see a lot of these kids coming in, and they have amazing opportunities. You know, they can spend 3 months trying this, 3 months trying that. So I think at a degree level, diploma level and above, that integration with the corporate world is extremely critical. You know, and it gives you that.
I'm just going to take this a step back, right? Let's go back to when you were 16.
Sure.
N level அப்பதான் முடிச்சீங்க. When did you find out that you were actually dyslexic? Like when was that?
I didn't find out until much later, only when I'm in my 30s, right? Like, because then it's not like I sit down one day or someone comes up to you and say, hey, you're dyslexic, or I go for a test and you find out. That time didn't have that word.
Right.
So I was just screwing up in class, flunking everything. But I had a good grasp of stuff, so I knew that something wasn't adding up. So only much later I found out about the dyslexia.
So what were the challenges that you, now that you look back, that you realize that
in my life, or with regard to dyslexia?
With regards to dyslexia.
Or with regard to dyslexia, simple stuff like, so there are many variations of it, right? It varies.
From person to person.
Yeah, from person to person. So for me, it's numbers or letters being jumbled up.
Okay.
It's not like those pada, you know, where it's just flying in there like Harry Potter. It doesn't work like that.
Anagrams or...
It just looked like someone spelled it wrongly. You know, so for me, spell check is my best friend. And now ChatGPT is my closest friend.
No, there's a movie, American
Yeah, Three Idiots, is it? No, not Three Idiots. Tari Zamir.
Yeah, it's also about dyslexia.
Yeah.
So that's when I realized that for me, we rarely meet this kind of people.
Yeah.
In like growing up. So the first time I came across such thing was actually by watching a movie.
Yeah.
And I was like, the movie was very, very touching because the boy was like, the parents were like, didn't understand what was he going through. Then his brother, in the other hand, he's like A student, whereas him, he's like always flunking.
Yeah.
So they send him to boarding school and stuff.
Yeah, same thing. My brother is damn smart, lah. He wear glasses, go to school. the choice son, I'm skipping school, going play football. Don't get into trouble, right?
It is the same for me. My sister's smarter than me, no.
Same.
Yeah, my secondary school teachers were all very worried that I'll end up like jobless and all that. Today I meet my Tamil teachers and all, they're very proud of me. So,
if you got the Tamil Asira stamp of approval,
Oh,
like,
yeah,
you know
it's
you did something
you are
right.
made for life.
Okay, நான் ஏதோ உருப்படியா பண்ணிருக்கேன்.
ஒரு கர்வம்.
No, garvam is a negative. Gauravam, prestige.
Correct.
Yeah.
I'm going to agree with him on that.
So, the challenges and all that, but on the end level, முடிச்சிட்டீங்க correct? When did you decide that aviation is where you wanted?
I didn't decide. I stumbled into it, right? So my brother's cabin crew with Singapore Airlines.
Okay.
So I actually attempted to become my height, and it's a no-brainer. I get to travel the world. I went for first interview with Singapore Airlines long time ago. I think after I graduated, but they turned me down, which is the best decision, lah. Then after that, I was actually doing a stint with Singapore Tourism Board. Okay. And then this opportunity came, and I said, okay lah, try it and see where it goes.
I mean,
how many people actually can say I've started up an airline?
Yeah, many.
and this is not government money; it's private money. I literally go knock on doors of banks and say, "Kasu kudu." We've got ambition, and what Tony did was amazing, lah. Like he mortgaged his own house. Everyone asked me, "Oh wow, you're very lucky. I buy the airline for 10 ringgit," but the company was 100 million USD in debt.
Yes.
அதெல்லாம் பார்க்க மாட்டாங்க. They say, "Oh, you bought the airline for $10." I mean, Tony bought it for 10 ringgit. But it was a serious situation where he had to remortgage his house and finance the initial capex of running the airline. And yeah, I mean, when you're in a startup, right, you do everything.
Yeah.
Right? You do everything. The only thing I didn't do was change the engine and fly the aircraft. We said that everything, clean toilet, the aircraft toilet we've tried, clean the aircraft cabin, load baggages. When tsunami hit Phuket, 2004, what an experience. Like literally we were on the tarmac helping our guys, load baggages, take off baggages and all that. Yeah. So I stumbled upon aviation, and I never left aviation after that. I mean, I've done a couple of stints around. Like I'm driven by consumer buying behavior and branding. That's what I love. Why people buy what they buy. I love that concept of that. Yeah. So everything I'm doing in my life revolves around that thesis, lah.
Right.
So even with AirAsia, I was more on the commercial side than I was in operations. Okay. I mean, the first 2 years I did operations, like literally check-in people. People would spit on your face. We were the first guys that didn't provide food on board the aircraft. So they say, I fly other airline, like that, I get this, I get that. Down here, nothing at all. But so it was an amazing, it was a paradigm shift, right? In the way we looked at air travel. Yeah. People who couldn't afford flying were now flying a lot, So we were very proud of what we did with AirAsia. I was there for 14 years. Then I left. Then I went to the other end of the extreme. I explored becoming a monk, a Tibetan monk, and I spent some time like in meditation and all that lah. Then I came back. I've done a lot of stuff since in aviation. Then 2015 was very interesting for me. Like our lives, we always have these milestone events. So all was going well. I went to Tibet. I had a nice time. I was up in Nepal and all that. Came back. I was lecturing. That's when I met Jeevan. Very short bit I was lecturing. Then I got back to the corporate world. And in 2015, one day I was having dinner. All of a sudden I couldn't move. And then I was admitted. And I found out that my nerves and my muscles are degenerating.
Oh.
Yeah.
So even now when I'm speaking to you, right, I'm in constant pain. So out of this came this condition called fibromyalgia, which is one of the main reasons I really want to come today and talk also. I think pain management is something that a lot of people battle with. So fibromyalgia is one. You've got lupus, even migraines. It affects your day to day. And with the kind of life we live in, it's become a serious thing, serious conversation. Pain management. So 2015 was tough, right? I was decommissioned for about 6 months. Couldn't work. It was a very tough period. I ended up. I contemplated ending it because I couldn't even lift my hand, and I mean, I've been so active, and then all of a sudden you're dependent on friends and family to eat food, So
it's a major change.
Yeah. But you know something? We all have gurus in our life. My pain, my condition has been my greatest guru, because it pushed me to a situation where I had no choice but to survive. So that was it's been one of my biggest blessings. When people ask me, was AirAsia a blessing? I say, no, was all this a blessing? Because I'm very thankful I've achieved a lot. Like things I wouldn't even dream of putting on my wish list, I've been blessed with achieving those wish lists, right? N-level guy from Yishun at the end of the day, right? So, you are realistic about what the world can bring to you also.
Yeah.
So when 2015 this hit me, it changed a lot of things. I now don't care about what people think about me. You like me, fantastic. You don't like me, fantastic. But I live the moment, It's taught me to really appreciate and practice a lot of gratitude, But pain conditions, we are seeing it more and more every day, right? Like how mental health is important.
Yes.
And that's an issue. That's a huge topic these days. Pain management is another. I tried setting up an informal group. Last time I used to be on Facebook, so I said, hey, those who are in pain, come, let's have coffee. Because pain is like hunger, only I know how it feels.
Yeah.
Even if you're my best friend, you can say, Macha, I'm here for you, but the pain is pain. I'm feeling it,
Like it might be something small to you.
Yeah.
But to me, that's like my biggest.
Exactly. And the thing about pain is, like, if this past half an hour we've been talking, you didn't know I have this condition. I look normal. Pain is invisible. And after some time you forget that it exists, and it's very hard to always tell people, I can't pain lah.
Yeah.
There's certain days I wake up and I just can't get out of bed because you're just in so much pain, or the condition has flared up, but it's so important to address this, because as we move into a modern world where we don't have the physicalities of 20 years ago activities, you'll see more and more people having pain. Like simple things like slip disc, upwards, right?
Yeah.
So 2015 to 2015-ish was tough, but I built myself up. I was surrounded by amazing people. I learned how to empower myself. I learned to be comfortable with myself only. And then ever since then, just built myself lah. So I don't do anything that I don't like. I don't hang out with people that, I respect people, but if I don't vibe, I don't vibe. And it's okay not to vibe.
Yeah.
Right? It's okay not to like, it's fine.
We live in a society where we try the best to fit in, but people don't realize that sometimes not fitting is
it's
healthier
okay
for you.
Yeah.
And,
yeah.
you give
and
you
it's
a
okay
better
not to fit in.
Yeah,
right?
also,
Just do you, right?
Yeah.
So there's some of us who are introverts. Like my wife, she's an introvert. I used to think she was an extrovert because of her job.
All of us actually.
Yeah.
Really?
Introvert.
I'm also an introvert.
Yeah.
I'm a professional extrovert.
So I actually had this same conversation with a group of friends recently. So I told people at work, I'm actually very introverted. Like I can talk in a setting. If I like you and if I vibe with you, like something like I vibe with you, I can talk a lot more, no problem. But the moment I'm alone, I need to rest. So I was having this WhatsApp chat with a group of friends. We don't know each other that well yet, but we know each other to some extent lah. So I was just the topic of being introverted and extroverted came up. Then I said, "Oh, I'm an introvert." Then the guy said, "Bro, you don't lie. You're not an introvert." Then I replied, "Bro, I'm too lazy to explain to you why I'm an introvert. That's the best example I can give you of why I'm an introvert."
Because I get this because my wife thinks that I'm very extrovert. But the thing is, I only talk to family members. I always constantly speak to my cousins or my friends. When I go outside, other than the family setting, right, usually it takes a lot of energy to hold a conversation. And if you don't hold a conversation, it's also rude in a certain way because those are elder people and stuff. So usually when I do that, I come back home, right, I'm like, my battery level is so low. I just want to go to bed.
The funny thing is, right, all four of us as hosts, right, we're doing a podcast, but all of us are actually introverts.
Really, yeah?
Everyone is actually introvert.
Oh, fourth is that. I thought I just got a job or something.
All five of us.
All five of us.
So we change it to YNTA. You'll never talk alone.
No, but it's a thing, right? Like a lot of people feel that they cannot be themselves, right? So I manage teams like throughout my life. I've managed stuff, right? And I've learned like so much from the people that have reported into me. And being a boss or being in leadership, you must be in a position where you can manage the quietest of the quietest and the most flamboyant guy as well. So, I know I'm going off tangent. I'm just thinking about blessings on my journey, right? But this introversy thing, I think at the end of the day, just do you lah. Don't force yourself. But if it's your job, right? Like if you're in front office and you're an introvert, then no choice lah. 8 hours a day you need to fake it lah. But if not, then find jobs that allow you to be in a comfortable environment. Like the industry I'm in, technology. Everyone is just behind a screen and they're very comfortable doing what they're doing. And it was actually a culture shock for me because I come from hospitality and aviation. Everyone's just so loud and anything we meet over kopi and we sort it out, And then I meet this amazing bunch of people, but very different lah, not loud people, very quiet and you don't know how to read the room also. But as someone who's in leadership, this constant management of various characteristics, behavior patterns, having to read. Because for you, I'm your only boss, for example. Right? But for me, you're one of 200, 300, 1,000 staff. Right? How do you maintain that? How do you sustain it? So understanding. So I always appreciate when the staff comes up to me and say, "Priveen, actually, I'm an introvert." Then I say, okay lah. So you're quiet not because you cannot tahan me. You're just quiet lah. So you do like me lah. Because you question yourself sometimes, right? As a leader, yeah. So
can you imagine you go to your boss and you're like, "Oh, I'm an introvert," and your boss, you actually now how I understand you. It's not that you don't like me. The introvert will feel even more scared. You're correct.
More stress. Interesting. You guys are introverts. Yeah. Usually emotionally driven people tend to be. I mean, this is technically a creative space, right? They tend to be introverted, and a lot of them also, interestingly, have insecurity issues also. From at least my experience, like so introversy can either you're born as an introvert or society or it chisels you to be an introvert because you don't like me, right? Insecurities. I think initially forced me to be an introvert because you're stupid, right? Priveen, you're stupid. You're quiet. I don't need your opinion, right? So you just okay lah, you just quiet lah. You just hang out one corner of the room while the rest of people. So it's very interesting. So I like human behavior and this is one of the things that. So when we talk about introversy and being an extrovert, there are deeper questions within that. Are you a result of your experience? Therefore, you're introvert or extrovert?
Nature lah.
Nature lah.
Yeah. Interesting. Actually, I've never asked that question.
I also never thought of it deeply until we just started talking about
Right. No, but it's a good. I was always under the impression that it was nature.
Sure.
Because ever since I can consciously from the earliest conscious memory I had, and everything since then always involved me being a little bit quieter most of the time.
I was under the impression it was nurture because like we look just a very small example, right? I was
This can be a topic on its own.
I was talking to someone, one of my family members, right? They say, your child is actually following the way you walk.
Sure.
So we are actually looking up to parents, we're looking up to someone, right? So we're actually picking up their attitude as well, their character, their form. So I think it's more of nurture than nature.
You know, none of us are behavioral experts here. We're just talking randomly.
Based on our experience.
Correct. So I mean, while you're talking, what hit me was, if say, Bharat, you are an extrovert,
right?
And you sign up with a library,
right,
for a job. You spend 20 years in that environment. Do you over time become an introvert because of the nature of the job where you maintain silence? You know what I mean? So it goes back to your question of nature versus nurture. You know, if you do a job where you're alone, right? You don't interact with people, but you're actually an extrovert. So does that over time chisel you to become an introvert?
I suppose possibly, right?
I don't know. Okay.
I don't know.
I had a similar, not a 20-year tenure for the experience that you mentioned, but I had like
guest மதிச்சு பேசு சொல்லிட்டேன்
நான் ஒன்னும் அவமதிக்கல
வயசு ஒரு சென்சிட்டிவான விஷயம்.
So I mean, I have not had that 20-year stint where I did something where I felt went against my nature, but I had a 3-year stint.
So he's indirectly saying he's like 25, 26.
I am not 25, 26. Recently only TikTok like one comment where my white hair all coming. Can you please pluck it out? Literally was a comment. I saw like, I am going for the salt and pepper.
Oh really? People actually say that?
Yeah.
They said worse things. They've said worse things.
Okay lah, but that's fine. Any engagement is welcome. Your comment tells TikTok that our content is good. So please go ahead.
Correct.
So yeah, I was doing this public speaking job. So I was a trainer for public speaking. So I was doing it. It was a full day, a few times a week. So I was training the trainers and training the students. I could do the job well. I progressed fast. Results were good and all that. But at the end of the day of work, every day, I came back home and physically unwell, mentally drained. I thought it would get better over time, but over time it got worse. And that's when I was dabbling into digital marketing behind the screen, basically looking at like sheets, graphs, etc.
From a data perspective, is
data, so digital So I was doing a little bit of both, of course, agency. So it was creative plus data. So I have to back everything up, those sort of things. So when I started doing that, and your entry positions are more conceptualizing, looking at data, understanding. So it's a lot of studying alone. Meetings here and there, and then you study, and then you have meetings. So it's a lot of time alone with my thoughts. And that suited me a little bit better because I didn't feel ill physically after I came back home. Because when I was doing this like training job and all that, I came back, my throat was like, I felt like I had sore throat every day.
You feel sick.
I feel physically sick every day, and it didn't get better over time. So hence I saying that I don't know if it's a long enough term to null the point of if it will get better, if your person type will change over time. But in that given time period, it got worse for me. So maybe that's just based on my experience lah.
No, I've had situations where I've sat down with my sales staff and I go for a sales call or meeting with them, right? And I just look at them in their element, and I know that they're forcing it, right? They're not comfortable, but everyone needs a job at the end of the day. So I mean, I do my best to then understand, and I said, okay, I feel that maybe you should go into analytics, maybe you should go into research, R&D or whatever. It's something that's not client facing. I think that would be your
strength or your core.
Your strength, and you should consider it, because the worst thing that you can ever do is be or take on a role that you are not comfortable with.
And the client would actually pick it up.
Of course.
The client would definitely pick it up.
I share one incident with you. There was once an agency came to pitch to me, right? And they're reading off the PowerPoint and they're facing the PowerPoint. I just sat there and I was just on my phone. For 10 minutes, they didn't even look at me. They didn't even engage me. And when we sat down, you could tell that they're not people's people.
Right.
You know? So, and you're right, you know, it shows. That's why it's so important to go back to passion, right? You know, okay, passion doesn't pay the bills. Quite honestly, that's why.
Yeah.
Like you guys know it the best, right?
Yeah.
You got to pay the bills first.
Yeah.
That is our dharma, and then you follow your passion, right? But at least find something in that vicinity, lah. You know, that's not too abstract also. Then at least you can inspire yourself. Because if you don't inspire yourself, you're not going to perform at work. You're always going to be just an average staff, right?
Which is why I realized that actually there are strengths to both being an introvert and extrovert. I find, right, that from my experience, being an introvert, you are better from my exposure. Introverts are good listeners. Extroverts are better at talking, as it would show lah.
Can I ethically debate that?
Yes,
Introverts,
please debate.
Introverts appear to be better listeners.
Really? Okay.
I don't know. I'm thinking like
Okay.
I'm just debating you for the sake of debating.
Oh no, that'd be great. Yeah. Okay.
Because I'm naturally quiet, but you don't know what's going on in my mind also.
Yeah.
You know, so that I mean, I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just throwing in the spanner into that thought process.
So, but okay, so when I'm having a conversation, right, and this how I when I'm tired, I'm letting out my secrets. But okay, never mind. When I'm tired, this is how I hold a conversation. I ask a question. The extrovert or another person will just talk. They will talk and do all the talking. So I listen and find the next question. Yeah. Then I ask the next question.
Oh,
so you actively
that's how I used to answer my Tamil exam papers. The first question of the comprehension, the first paragraph, then the second paragraph. So the last question.
And through that, right, you can identify who is a good conversationalist and who is, you know, there's this term, conversational narcissist. Sure. You can identify these people because sometimes questions get thrown back at you, and then, to be honest, then the conversation picks up so much more. And that's when you realize that there's mutual interest. Sometimes I realize that when I ask a question and the person, so my question is like maybe 10 seconds long. The content will come out for 5 minutes. Okay, then I'm listening. It's good content. But then,
are you focused? Are you in the question? Or are you
because
like
it's good content. It's good content, honestly. So I get to listen and I get to actively ask questions. So it works for me because I don't get tired talking. Sometimes, you know, I go with my friends the whole day. No offense to my friends, I love them and all that. But my friend can tell me, you know, Farid, my friend Farid, he'll tell me at the 4th or 5th hour, you know, bro, how's zoning out already? And I say, yeah, bro, I cannot already, bro. I love you guys, but I cannot already.
Again, based on my 20-year journey, when you go especially into management and leadership, right, you need to be able to manage that also.
Yeah.
When you become a boss, you know, it's full day, you know. The first person you talk to at 9 o'clock, that passion and attention at 6 p.m. when someone walks in and says, Priveen, can I talk to you? You're like,
hello, Rasami.
No, I mean, it's not that I don't want to engage because I want to give my best to It's respect, right? You know, so I have this theory, and my wife can vouch for me. The moment my staff approaches me and says, Priveen, I need to talk to you, whatever I'm doing, I close my laptop. I'll listen to him for 2 minutes.
Okay.
If it's going to be a long conversation, I say, bro, let's schedule some time because I really want to hear you. Let's not rush through it. You know, but going back to my point, you know, when you're in leadership and you're running a team, you need to psych yourself. That's why I go back to you need to do what you're passionate about. Or at least believe in. Because if not, the job is fine, you know. The job is not the start and end all. It's the peripherals around the job role, right? Like leading teams, inspiring teams, hearing them out. All this will suffer if you're not happy doing what you're doing.
The environment must be uplifted all the time.
Yeah. If I already hate what I'm doing or I don't believe in it,
it's gonna show.
You come and talk to me, I'll be like, okay,
It's
anything you talk to HR lah.
You can tell the energy will seep through and to be honest, you will affect. Okay, I've been in management position before in like startups.
Sure.
And like it's not the hundreds of teams, like just 5-6 people. But to be honest, your energy level does matter a lot to those people in the more junior positions because they are picking up from you.
Of course. I mean, even in family dynamics, right? You're married, right? Like, when I want my wife to be happy around me, right? And sometimes non-verbal cues, you pick up. Why are you all laughing? I'm very happy.
அனுபவம்
Pandora's box is it?
No.
ஐயோ இல்ல இதுக்கு எனக்கு சம்மதம் இல்ல.
வலி ரொம்ப வலிக்குது. வலியே.
இன்ட்ரோவர்ட் இவ்வளவு நேரமா சொல்லிக்கிட்டு இருந்தோம்ல, வீட்டுல தான் we recharge. So வேலை முடிஞ்சு we come back home like then our wife hello they like
Okay, so we also recharge in a way. We play FIFA every night.
yeah.
Play-
Online
Yeah,
Yeah.
online. We play profile.
No, worst thing, right? We will be so we come, okay. So my last sentence was. Then we go online. Then our wife come. Anga sirkira
Exactly what happened to me. You know what my wife said? You talk to your friends more than you talk to
More
me.
passionately.
I told my wife, with them I need to use my brain. I can scold them. They won't come and like slap me. They cannot throw serupu online. You can.
No, it's a fine line. No? If you know, if your wife is telling, it's okay. If your wife is if your wife is telling something serious and you because you're tired, you never listen. You are dead.
Yeah.
We have to take the 2-minute approach.
Yeah.
2 minutes.
இல்ல guys,
Let's schedule a meeting.
Can you consolidate it? Let me take a shower, recharge, and let's talk.
இல்ல இந்த டாபிக் வேற எங்கயோ. I don't want any damage. இல்ல நான் கண்டிப்பா வைப்பேன். வெட்டி நான் ஸ்னிப்பட் அனுப்புவேன்.
Why that's so important, right? Like when we talk about being passionate about something, when you go home also, you've had a bad day. If you don't really enjoy your work, that energy you're just going to take back. On my TikTok, I don't talk about. I don't know whether you had the chance to look at my TikTok. I do nothing else but talk about mindfulness. You know,
Yeah.
find that time to just sit down, be silent, not verbally silent, but slowing down the mind. I think that's so important, especially in today's world where it is so fast. Right? Whenever you can, even if you're taking a crap in the toilet, if there can be your time to just slow down your mind and just chill. It's nothing to do with religion or spirituality. It's just taking stock of yourself. You know, it's a mental pour water on the tale practice. You know, so that you can recalibrate and go out and last the day. Like we were just talking about Amazon, right? He makes critical decisions 2 hours a day. We don't have that luxury. We have to make critical decisions throughout the day.
Yep.
So it's so important for us to find in our own working models what works for you.
Yeah.
You know, some people go for a cup of coffee, some have a smoke, some just go for a walk around the building. You just find that space so that you can come back and realign again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Agree.
He looks very sad. Did
Yeah,
he make you
so
sad?
No, it's
Yes,
Why your face like that, No, already okay. Normally, I just as a friend, I'll tell you like, just hear me out. My face normally கன்றாவியா இருக்கு. இப்போ ஏன் எக்ஸ்ட்ரா கன்றாவியா இருக்கு?
அந்த முடியோட சேர்த்து இன்னும் எக்ஸ்ட்ராவா இருக்கு.
யோசிச்சு பார்த்தேன். It's like, you know, all this.
Very deep conversation.
இல்ல அங்க மூளை இல்ல, அதனால தான் அது ரொம்ப கஷ்டமா இருக்கு.
இல்ல அங்க அந்த மண்டையில என்ன இருக்கு சார்?
நிறைய இருக்கு.
அங்க okay, brain fog. Just fog.
Wrong.
சரி, நீ என்னமோ உலகத்துக்கு சொல்ல வந்து சொல்லு.
So actually, to be honest, now I'm thinking like, because I did a research, like I read your story, I saw some articles. The entrepreneurship grant word, you know, I think it's been there since young for you.
Yeah, in a way lah. In a way, I mean the DNA of entrepreneurship is what survival. What I've hustled all my life lah. You know, when my father walked out of the family, my mom took care. I have to share with you, my first guru was a bottle of water like this. So,
Okay.
when I was doing my diploma, I was working banquet in Hyatt.
Okay.
To see myself through school lah. That time they had staff canteen, but we didn't get because either food finished or they didn't give the part-timers, and we were bottom of the bottom.
Food chain.
Food chain, right? So a lot of times, and I never liked. I'm today a vegetarian, but back then I was exploring vegetarianism, so I wasn't very comfortable eating non-veg thing. Only at home I was vegetarian. If not, Amma will slap me lah. Say you must eat meat, all this. Right. So coming back to the point, there wasn't food, and I needed keep myself full. So, and I was banquet, and because of my height, I kena the big.
Very yeah.
Where one poor soul will be carrying.
I got work. I got work in banquet.
So I'm the guy with the round tray. So it's crazy tiring,
They carry like that, then you got to come and put it down.
Correct, and that's like 50 plates, and you'll be so hungry, and so that became my first. That moment, that phase became my first guru. I would go to the toilet because I couldn't even afford going to the 10-cent toilets, I needed to go to the free toilets. I'll go fill up my mineral water bottle and then go and sit in the cubicle and fill my stomach. If I can do that, right, and I'm very proud of this example. People say, you're not paise, I share all this. I say, no, if I can do that, right, I can do anything, So that started for me. So when we talk about entrepreneurship, I know your question, but I'm just dissecting it. It's a psychological thing first, right? So you must have that survival. If you look in Singapore and you compare entrepreneurship in Singapore or Asia versus the Western world, at the age of 18, you move out, right?
Yeah.
Whatever's on your bag, that's it.
Yeah.
So entrepreneurship takes on a whole different perspective. If you don't make it, you end up on the streets.
Yeah.
Here we'll try one Latina Amma வீட்ல வந்து can go Amma sampanga I can one. So I think the Asian culture we need to relook at how we look at entrepreneurship lah.
It's a bit more protected, I would say.
Yeah, we are more blessed.
We are more
blessed.
It's cultural thing lah.
Correct. Our family will never let us end up on the streets or be homeless or whatever. And we're a bit more blessed, right? How we view that blessing is a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
Right. So I think so for me when you ask me this entrepreneurship thing, you must have that survival
instinct trait.
Yeah, it's not an instinct, it's a
trait.
Yeah. Some people have come up to me and say, hey, Priveen, you must be very smart, you're very innovative. Things all you all did in AirAsia or throughout my career I've done a lot of very innovative stuff. I say no, innovation doesn't come from intelligence, it comes from desperation. When you don't know whether your company is going to survive the next day, you will innovate the hell out of it. Most of the time. Right? Because if not, then your company sinks out. So I always share that insights lah. So back to entrepreneurship, because I wasn't part of the mold, I knew I always didn't fit in. Right? And then my first job was AirAsia. Right, my boss was musician. Everyone in AirAsia came from Warner Music. It was a very creative, very loud environment. Everyone was very gung ho. So that fueled my trait and strength, the DNA of entrepreneurship. So in 2016, I started my own agency, right, where we did consultancy, and it grew, and we did some amazing things. But the point is, you need to ask yourself, we have so many entrepreneurs in Singapore. There are a lot of people who want to start their own business. The first question you must ask yourself is, by your existence, who benefits from it? Right? What's the point? If the answer, there's no right answer to this. It can be, I want to make more money, fantastic, go ahead with it. Just have a good plan lah. But a lot of people feel that, I want to make people smile, I want to do this, but businesses evolve, you see.
Yeah.
Look at you guys. You started with the intent of just hee ha. Right now, you have a melting pot of various experiences. You have comedy, you have serious folks like me coming in, but the end goal doesn't change. It's about empowering people, right? If I were to summit you guys, it's just to empower the listener, right? To have at least at the end of the day when they go and sleep, they're thinking about something. It can be a laughter, or it can be something to do with pain management. Right? That's why you guys exist. So there is an intent there. Along the way, me and a bunch of friends have reached out. So I'm fundamentally a strategist. I'm a commercial strategist. So I help take companies to the next level. That's what I do. Right. We found out that so me and a bunch of friends many years ago knew that it's very difficult to get access to people of our experience. It's very costly also.
Yeah.
You know, imagine you guys hiring a consultant to come in and sit down and do if you hire the Bains of the world or KPMGs of the world, it's gonna cost you a bomb, right?
Yes.
So me and my friends, what we did was we said, okay, let's start an informal group where we meet the likes of you guys and say, okay, for example, say you're a fantastic cook. You cook the best biryani in the world. A lot of people think just because I can cook biryani, I can sell it left, right, center. I can run a business, but it's completely different.
Yeah.
Right? The skill sets that you need to run a restaurant is extremely different from
Just
being a chef.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right?
making it
And
profitable.
then a lot of another misconception I see is just because I'm the founder and I created or I thought of the idea, I should be CEO.
Oh.
You know,
Yeah.
that's another misunderstood fact. You may be a fantastic chef, and you are the founder of the brand, but the CEO is someone who should strategically be able to run the company.
Yeah.
You know, so we tried that. Unfortunately, it did not pick up. I mean, we did it out of passion, right? And we really wanted to support the Indians in Singapore. I mean, we all, at the end of the day, we're all the same one. We're Singaporeans. We want to matter. Everyone wants to matter. No one wants to be invisible. Everyone wants to matter. Everyone wants to feel a sense of belonging. You know, so with that only, we wanted to really help and see how we can empower Singaporean Indians, you know. So me, because I'm a commercial strategy guy, there's another friend of mine who's a CPA, and then another guy who's a legal guy, another guy who's good in technology. So we just loosely tried to initiate this, you know. But unfortunately, I think that time entrepreneurship was not. Imagine going to tell your mother, Mama, nalgi na vandu oru business காசு எவன் கொடுப்பான்?
No, actually that's what happened to me when I started, because I started my first job. I was the first employee for the startup.
Oh,
right? And so technically that's when I signed up to be an entrepreneur.
yeah.
And I was every day in the survival mode. காசு போடணும், காசு போடணும். So இதை நான் வீட்டில் போய் சொன்னேன், ஏன் இதுக்கு வேலை செய்கிற, இதுதான் கவர்மெண்ட் வேலைக்கு போ.
Same, yeah. Exactly.
Even my mom, right? Like,
Yeah.
I've done so much, and then I started my thing, right? But to all our mothers, we are children.
Yeah,
We'll
yeah,
be a
always,
child.
yeah.
I look like a mother, but I'm still a child, right?
Same.
And then she said down, she said, Priveen, really,
Yeah.
like this okay what, this job okay what, காசு வருது, நீ நல்லா இருக்க, why you want to start something, you know? And then when I started getting stuff, she questioned me. She said, oh, you sure you want to get stuff? Because, you know, their lives now in your hand, which was the truth. But you know, we, as Asians, naturally, you know, we are so conservative.
Yeah.
Correct, yeah.
Nothing wrong with that. But I think the world has changed a lot, lah. You know, I think social media, in a way, is fueling entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not on Insta or Facebook since 2020, but I am on TikTok. And I see the commercial trends, right? Like one guy in his flat is shipping in a bunch of special water or whatever. And he has a marketplace and he's selling that. You know, so I think now is the best time to explore entrepreneurship. Because a lot of, there's always that cross, right? Technology and opportunities.
Yeah.
Maybe 5-6 years ago, pre-COVID, technology was a bit costly.
Yeah.
Now social media,
Nice.
like all your stuff are
There's so much more avenues for an entrepreneur to
For free.
succeed.
For free
free.
some more. Yeah.
For
And
free.
from a policy level also, Singapore is supporting entrepreneurs a bit more.
Yes. No, with all due respect, Singapore government has been supporting entrepreneurship for the longest time.
Even before COVID.
Correct. For a very long
Yeah.
time, yeah. The government has been putting all the right strategies also. But I think the DNA matters. Like,
Yeah.
you know, it's a DNA thing. But we are getting there. Definitely, we're getting there. And I think this new wave of internet platforms, social media platforms that incorporate marketplaces is best first step as an entrepreneur.
Mm.
You know, you see a lot of life, like they're selling saris, they're selling clothes,
Yes.
they're selling so many things. This is all businesses, yeah.
Yeah.
Everything and
You know,
anything.
and they're understanding the importance of brand positioning, brand equity, understanding financial forecasting. It's a much lower capacity, but it's still an opportunity for them that they're all learning. So I think it's an amazing time. E-commerce or commerce as a whole, retail commerce is really taking shape. It's empowering people. Like, you want to sell your this shirt that you're wearing tomorrow, you can do it. Last time it used to be very expensive
Very
to
hard,
get
yeah.
a place on not Spotify, what is it? Another platform where it's a marketplace. You know, it costs a lot,
Yeah.
you know. So your OPEX already is so high. How are you going to sustain? Now it's next to nothing, like
Yeah.
like $200 a month. You can do something decent.
I mean, a good example for this, right, is like I'm a audio junkie, right? I am very particular about the mics and
Sure.
everything, right?
Sure.
So Boyan ஒரு brand இருக்கு, அது வந்து China brand நினைக்கிறேன், சரியா தெரியல. When they started marketing on Shopee and all that, it was not really that great.
Sure.
The moment they entered TikTok, everybody started using that TikTok, and they labeled it as the TikTok mic.
Ah.
So it's just how you sort of like use that identity and market it. That's
It's sometimes is the avenue where we are facing also. It's not at certain like if you look at A, instead of A, if you advertise in C, that it reaches more. Like you say.
Yeah, that's marketing. Like,
That's marketing.
from
So
the
it's just a
level.
strategy.
To be honest, right, like to tie into your point what I said and to weave in all the entrepreneurship points, right, I'm one of those people that left a government position to work in private sector because my perception was that I could learn a lot of different things, horizontally and vertically.
Sure.
So and I work in agency, in-house, private, government, etc. But the most growth I've had in the shortest period of time was in a startup.
Sure.
Was in a startup at the second year. So I was the fifth
Because you do
employee.
everything yourself.
Yeah.
So I was the fifth employee, and marketing in a startup is completely different compared to like an MNC or something where it's a little bit more strategy, always on campaigns, those sort of things. This is day to day. How much money have you made today?
Yeah.
Okay, not enough. At 3 p.m, shit, it's not enough. We need to pump in some campaign now. Then last minute, you design something, post something at 3:30, 4:30, get it approved, all that. So the amount of urgency, the on-the-go thinking, flexibility you have to have, and most growth for me individually at that job was the sense of responsibility. It's like, okay, I'm responsible for this. You need to get it done, figure out how to get it done, get everyone aligned, right? There's nothing, to be honest, nothing like, in my opinion, working in a startup.
I'm going to expand that, right? When you look at the psychology of people, earlier on I said everyone wants to matter. No one wants to be invisible. When you're in a startup and there's 5 of you, 6 of you, your role is very important.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly. Yeah.
right? You matter.
Exactly, yes.
That is also a motivating factor as well.
It's very empowering.
It is.
Yeah,
It is.
yeah.
You're like, oh wow, I'm doing this. I'm in charge. I need to close. I need to increase sales by 15% in the next 3 hours. How am I going to do that? You know, and the CEO looks at you and says, you can do it. Yeah, go for it. You know,
it's like nurturing a baby. Actually,
it is.
Yeah.
It is. But I think, and I tell my students this, right? Like last time I was lecturing for a short bit, I always tell them, like, in your life, at least do one of your breaks, go and work in F&B, be a waiter, because when you're a waiter, no such thing as names. You are, excuse me,
Yeah.
breaks your ego.
No, they give you even worse.
Yeah. I'm being nice because
Yeah.
it's on air.
Yeah, we extremely.
Yeah. But I think it's a perfect. If you want, again, entrepreneurship or work, whatever, right? You break that self, that narcissistic entitlement. F&B teaches you that.
Yeah.
And then if you get a chance, I mean, I think government is fantastic. It teaches you processes,
Protocol.
governance, right? I'm really enjoying my stint now. I work for a government-linked company, and I'm really enjoying that governance part of it. Startup teaches you to trust yourself.
Yeah.
Because you look around, marketing, you're in charge, you make the decision, and you face it, right?
Yeah.
But as a leader, when I used to run my agency, and I learned this again from Tony, right? As a leader, you need to create an environment that allows your staff to make calculated mistakes. I can't expect you to get it right the first time.
Mm.
You know, so okay, I can factor in from a price perspective 2 times screw up lah. You know, that's a good working environment, and a boss that empowers you to make mistakes.
Yeah.
That's
amazing.
very rare in Asian culture, in my opinion. I don't see that a lot in the Asian culture.
Yeah, it isn't, but because of my journey, right? My first job was with AirAsia, and my first boss was Tony Fernandez.
Yeah.
So
And he's actually, because அவரோட நான் பேசியிருக்கேன். நம்ம என் மொதல் வேலையில் வந்து நம்மள அவர் இன்டர்வியூ பண்ணியிருக்கோம். அவர் கதையை சொன்னப்போ I realized he's not an Asian mind. அவர் வந்து it's a different level. The thinking process and all that is amazing.
And until today, I don't think I'm a smart person. I just think I'm an experienced person. Right? When I work, I always make sure my staff is smarter than me. Then you do a good job, you know. A lot of entrepreneurs think that because I'm the CEO, I'm the founder, I must know everything. You know, and that cannibalizes the growth. You know, so I always made sure that my peers are much smarter than me. Then I can come to you, say,
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's my decision. I'm the business owner, but I must be humble. For that, you need humility to be able to sit down and take in that, right?
So I think like one thing that is very important to people is your support networks.
Yeah.
Like no one is like able to make it on their own, and like your family. The second, for example, நீங்க ஆரம்பத்துல சொன்னீங்க like at the start you were working the whole time, right? So to have people who stick by you during those times, those people really matter.
Oh, for sure. And again, like for me, it's very important. Every day, I told you after 2015, I have my own mantras in life, right? Every day, I make sure I show gratitude. Every day, I in my TikTok also, I'll always say, if you have an opportunity, smile at a stranger, because you could have just saved a life. You know, it's a very powerful something I really believe in. You know, some people think I'm some old crazy fellow who just smiles at people, but I don't care, right? Like I think we really need to live and celebrate life regardless, because it'll always be like this.
இப்படியே போனாக்கா அதுக்கு பேர் வாழ்க்கை.
Rajini said this. Rajini said this in Nam's speech. Rajinikanth. Sorry. Rajinikanth. So I have this habit of watching Rajini's motivational speeches at his audio launches. So அவர் வந்து சொல்லியிருக்காரு that சந்தோஷம் இருக்கும், வேதனை இருந்தாதான் சந்தோஷம் இருக்க முடியும். If there's a down, there's a up. And சோதனையை சந்திச்சாதான் சாதனை. He said this thing is so in audio launch. So it's like whenever there's like a low moment or a high moment, I know that the opposite is inevitable. But if there's no good, there's no bad also, because everything is the same then.
No, for sure, right? Everything has to be a balance, right? The sweetest and most awesome dessert is dependent on the amount of salt you put in. Right. So it's so critical. Like I think, regardless of how much we earn, I mean, yes, we need to pay bills, we need to earn, but I have friends who earn so much money who are not happy. I have friends in the aviation during COVID. You know, my industry just flatlined, right? Pilots were losing their jobs. Like last time, you say pilots only, you'll be surrounded by women. During COVID, you say you're pilot, everyone. Right? If you say, you know, So that was an interesting period, and a lot of my friends left the traditional workforce and started doing something on their own, and they would earn maybe 40% lesser, 35% lesser. It was a struggle, or they just barely made it, but they were a lot more contented, you know. And so I think that celebrating ourselves every day, like for me, why I adopt that is because every day for me, I don't know whether it's going to be a good day or bad day for me physically.
Right.
There are more bad days than good days. But I enjoy the good days because I've gone through the bad days.
Right.
If not, we are all creatures of habit over here. Right. So gratitude and complacency all kicks in. You know, that's always in conflict, right? Gratitude versus complacency. So I people ask, do you wish that you never had this condition? I say no. I'm so thankful to it. You know, I live like, and I'm very passionate. I mean, we've been here like 1 hour. You know, I'm just not fluffing it lah. You know, I believe, I only speak what I believe in. So like, if today you call me and you ask me talk about trajectory of entrepreneurship or how businesses should grow, I'm not the person for you, right? But you said come and share your life and and how it is. It's not to inspire people. It's just giving me an official platform to just take stock of my journey. That's it.
Yeah. Actually, how do you just on the maybe it's personal, like, but how do you manage the condition? Like, what do you do?
Personal,
Okay, so how do you manage it?
So
Like
by
from
right,
a
I'm
psychological and also physical, like or
So
if they're both weaved
In
together.
2015, I was diagnosed and I was given a whole palette of medications. These are very strong medications. You heard of oxycodone, Oxy?
Yeah.
If you watch Netflix and all these programs, the Velakara, white collar drug of choice. It'll always be an Oxy. Messes your mind. So I was on 3 very, very strong medications like that. I took it for 3 months.
Okay.
Because, it's new and you didn't know, right? I ended up on top of my apartment building wanting to jump down.
Oh.
Because it messes your mind, right? So then I said, this is not working out. So I stopped. Ever since 2015, after that 3 months, I don't take medication at all. I've embraced my pain. I always say pain is my spouse. Ranjani is also my spouse. but metaphorically, what it means by I embrace it lah. Okay. For me, why I celebrate life so much is because I felt the pain. I felt the darkness. Right, so I'm so grateful for if I have 5 minutes of joy. From 2015 until now, this very moment I'm speaking to you, I've not had 1 minute of no pain. I'm constantly in pain. That's why you see throughout this 1 hour, I'm moving around, I'm doing this because I'm in pain. And I listen to my body. My body is telling me, I'm going to give you pain. I'm telling my body, okay, give me pain, fine, but let me also do my stuff.
Right.
But it does not deter me from living my life. So after I got diagnosed, only I took a part in my doctor said that, walking is going to be an issue. I did my first triathlon. I was the last to complete. I think when I was crossing the finishing line, the fillers were bringing down. When I said, wait, let me cross first. I came in 2 hours after the race had completed.
But then you completed.
Yeah.
That's the thing. You completed.
And then I've done a lot of crazy stuff. If not for 2015 episode, I would not have lived my life. So it pushed me to a point because I don't know who knows who's going to wake up tomorrow, right? Yeah. So I've learned that because I was in the depth of pain and misery and darkness, right? I appreciate even the smallest glimmer of light. I don't expect big lights. Small one, okay. Jadi. That kind of thing. So this pain, I now manage. The people around me understand my pain. Ranjani has been such a supporter, and it's so important. Like, Ranjani is my best friend. More than a wife, she's my macha, and she gets it, I have good days, I have bad days. And I appreciate it. My friends understand it. There's sometimes like we would travel, say we travel overseas, thinking that we want to do a particular activity. That day I can't, or pain or whatever. Say, okay lah, we just go and have dinner or something like that. I think if you're comfortable with who you are, then you just gangster it lah.
That should be like on like.
It used to be my hashtag. I used to put hashtag gangster buddy. But it was a deeper meaning. It was nothing to do with gangsterism. But you have to be gangster about it, to have the guts to go.
Instead of just do it, right? Just gangster it.
So I always like before 2020, like my Instagram and all, there's always be a hashtag called gangster buddy. That's me working for it. But again, right? Like, I'm so thankful for this. I'm blessed with amazing people in my life. Everyone I meet, I'm learning something. Like even tonight also, it's these are all opportunities, and I thrive on it. Like I shared earlier on, I don't need to be here. We're not driven by this, right? But it gave me an opportunity. Like I'm inspired by you guys, right? Like you had the balls to say, hey, you know what? We want to empower people. Let's start this. How many people can do this? Be comfortable to share their lives. When I first shared the Straits Times article, it was a 2-section in the newspaper, and everyone was like, Priveen, what lah, you crazy ah? whole life, everything, you know, that kind of thing. But it takes a certain strength, right?
Yeah.
And to a certain part, like your partners, your wives, they're also part of this
Yeah.
this brand, right?
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
so we just have to be comfortable, and I'm always very honest about like empowerment. Why I wanted to come today is because I really wanted to share the fact that like to convene this chat, right? Like we are not who we may be defined from the perimeters. So in my time, N level, I didn't know dyslexic, dumb N level guy. This is your fate. You will end up doing blue collar job. You will do shift work in wherever, right? And then when I was given the opportunity, I seized the opportunity and I worked really hard. A lot of people say, "Oh, Priveen, yala, you made it already, okay, wow, you done so much." But the 20 years, you're seeing me today,
Yeah.
The 20 years before this, there's a lot of sacrifices as well, So I think that aspect is so critical. Not fearing hard work is critical. Celebrating every moment, whether you earn $1,000 or you earn $100,000. I have friends who are so rich, they drive fancy cars, but they're still not happy because neighbor got more updated Ferrari.
ஒரு Ferrari ரோஷே வாங்குறதுக்கு முக்குது.
I tell you this, until today, right? I'll think 10 times when it comes to spending money for me. Because potato.
Yeah.
Literally.
நாளைக்கு வேலை போனிச்சுனா இப்படிலா. That kind of
Yeah.
It will always be there.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
that's an amazing, because then it teaches us appreciation also,
Exactly.
lah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Completely.
I like I
agree.
shared earlier on, people say, "Hey Priveen, why you don't drive? Why you don't own a car? Why you don't live in a condo? A house lah." Right. And I grab everywhere. I hate driving. I'm lazy. I rather sleep or watch Netflix in a car. Why do I want to drive? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I enjoy taking Grab, and now Grab Premium is like a blessing for me because I'm so tall. I stretch. Yeah. So I mean, like it's what's important to you, lah. I'm not living it for others, right?
Yeah.
And I put in a lot of effort to celebrate life. If I'm not going to learn from it, then I'd rather just avoid it and just chill. If I didn't find today's session, when I leave here, I must be thinking about certain things.
Right.
Or reflecting on certain things, right? Be it from my own conversation or having heard you all, right? If it wasn't going to be there, then I wouldn't have come all the way here. And last of all, like I just want to put some points, right? So like gratitude, I think, is so important. Selflessness is so important. Unfortunately, we live in a world where I need 100 likes. I need 1,000 likes. Not because last time it used to be a narcissistic angle, but now some of them are running businesses.
Yeah.
So their living depends on
The likes.
Yeah. So then where do you draw that line, right?
Yes,
I mean,
yeah.
these are all amazing thinking points. You want to talk about fatigue? What fatigue?
Decision making.
Decision making fatigue. I mean, we can have another session on that.
Yeah.
But fatigue as a whole, right? In every decade, you will see different
Yeah.
nuances, different challenges, different thought processes. And as long as you are humble enough to observe versus leading, but just to stand and look around and say, okay, wow, these guys are doing it. Oh wow, okay, I can learn this and then improve themselves. Then fantastic lah. Yeah.
On that
So,
note.
in closing, maybe if I were to ask you, right? So like, நீங்க வந்து உங்க life பத்தி you shared a lot of things from a personal, from systemic flaw and level. This is where you'll end up to personal.
I don't think it's a flaw. Sorry, I'm just cutting you. I don't think anything is a flaw. That's what it is. Like at one point of time, people thought the earth was flat. Yeah, it wasn't a flaw.
Yeah.
It's just what we understood. Like,
Yeah. From systemic standpoint. Systemic standpoint to health standpoint to the journey of starting in a company like AirAsia to where you are now. If you could sum all this up in maybe like 3 words, what would those words be?
love, laughter, God. That's my mantra in life.
Nice.
When you love unconditionally, right, you laugh through life. And when I say God, it's not religious centric. It's celebrating the person who's sitting opposite you. Yeah, so that's the 3 things I live.
That's very similar to Unbasive. Do you watch the movie?
Yeah. Kamal Hassan.
Yeah.
See, I know Tamil movies. Yeah, I never watched the movie, but I saw that scene where
the movie is amazing.
Yeah. So I think
Honestly,
empowerment. I think empowerment is such an important religion today.
Right.
You know, regardless of I'm born a Hindu. I've lived as a Buddhist monk. I fast my 18th year this year for Ramadan. So it's never been about religion and what flag you carry, right? It's always about humanity. If you can empower someone to have a better life or have a better perception of themselves, you made it already. Yeah, you don't need to run $1 billion company to make someone feel good about themselves.
On that note, Priveen.
You know, I've had people call me
Praveen.
in clinics, Mr. Pervert.
Pervert.
Priveen. Yeah, Priveen. Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming down today and
it's-
actually chatting
it's
with
nice.
us.
Yeah, I wish we didn't have a time frame. It was a good
Unfortunately.
evening.
Unfortunately.
No.
Like,
I
welcome-
really had a nice time. Like, yeah.